Hi, my name is Lydia, and I'm from Chicago. Please like and subscribe. I was born to a very poor family. Mom and Dad couldn't even afford to buy me new shoes every year, and I would end up wearing the same ones over and over again, even though they now had a hole bigger than the Grand Canyon. One day when I was 7 years old, I went to school with those antique shoes, and everyone started making fun of me.
Look at her shoes. They look like they could be on display at a museum.
I wanted to cry, but suddenly I felt like I should say something. Yes, just like your underwear. His face was frozen, but everyone else laughed more. Even though they laughed at my joke, no one wanted to hang out with me. One night before I went to bed, Mom came to me.
Don't worry, my lovely Lydia. I'm sure that time will bring you the right friends.
She smiled at me and kissed me goodnight. But instead of friends, time just brought me more bad events. One morning, when I was 10, Mom and I woke to find out that Dad was missing. He was nowhere to be found, and he didn't come home all day until Mom decided to call the police.
When was the last time you saw him?
Well, he was sitting on the sofa.
But as Mom was mumbling and crying, she suddenly saw a note on the sofa.
Dear Teresa and Lydia, I am sorry to go, but I can't provide for you anymore. I have to see if I can make it on my own first.
Mom burst into tears, but I wasn't feeling anything. A few days later, she started struggling between jobs to pay the rent and bring food to the table. We had to leave the city and move to the countryside, to a more affordable place, and I enrolled in the nearest school.
Never give up on your studies.
I did as she asked. One day, when my classmates and I had a school project where we had to create a comic, I decided to take a new approach and paint my comic strips. Turns out that I was a very good painter. For that project, the teacher was impressed by my paintings even more than the other people's printed images.
Great job, Lydia. A+ for Lydia and her group.
But Melissa, the richest and most popular girl in school, wasn't so happy about it.
Ridiculous! She can't be better than my $5,000 printer that my dad just bought for me on purpose for this project.
I wanted to tell her to shut up, but I still had a feeling that being the new girl in school, I had better make friends before I made any enemies. That's fine, Melissa. Next time we will all use your printer to make you happy. But she wasn't an easy-to-please person and got angry at me.
How dare you talk to me like that?
What an idiot! She didn't even understand I was trying to be fair. Luckily, one of her hyena best friends spoke to her.
Melissa, she didn't say anything wrong.
And the whole class burst into laughter. Melissa was more furious than a volcano and walked out. A few days later, while I was walking in the school's corridor heading to my locker, I saw an opening for a design competition. I couldn't believe my eyes! Melissa was looking for a personal fashion designer to pay for drawing whatever dresses she had in mind, and she was paying a lot. While I was reading the ad, someone spoke to me from behind.
Do you think a loser like you will satisfy my fashion needs?
I turned around, and Melissa and her ugly hyena girlfriends were strangely looking at me. I wanted to be someone, and so I had to stand up for myself. Oh, shut up, you spoiled brat!
What did you just call me?
I immediately regretted it. I needed the job so badly. Of course, I won't satisfy your expectations. I will do my best to surpass them.
We'll see.
As she left, I heard a sweet voice right behind me. It was Thorn, the weird guy from my class.
Don't listen to her. Just apply. I've seen your drawings. You have talent. You could win.
Well, now he also seemed very handsome to me. Trying to stop myself from saying some stupid thing, I ended up mumbling, "Thank you."
I'm sorry?
You're so sweet.
I am what? Excuse me?
I didn't know what to say anymore, so I just left. As I turned around the corner, I entered the restrooms and looked at myself in the mirror. Right after me, Melissa entered the bathroom.
Hey, you better not be thinking about winning the competition or having Thorn.
Why? Is he your boyfriend?
Of course, that guy dressed in rags is not my boyfriend. But I know he likes me, and I'd like to keep it that way. I want everyone to like only me.
And she left. What a jerk! As soon as I got home, I immediately started working on the competition's requirements. I didn't sleep for nights. One day, I was laying on a private beach in a huge mansion with my yacht parked in front of me, sunbathing while the butler was serving me fresh juices, when a hand on the shoulder woke me up.
Hey, Sleeping Beauty. You've been sleeping during math, biology, and literature. Time to go home.
Oh no, Thorn had seen me! I probably looked like a zombie! I checked my phone. It was so late! Mom would be so worried! The last bus had left already, and in the countryside, there is no other way to get back home unless you have a car, which neither I or Mom had.
How will you get home?
I'll walk.
Really? How far do you live?
Not so far. About 20 miles from here.
Nonsense. Come on, let me give you a ride home.
What? He had a car already? I wanted to refuse, but I was short on options, so I accepted his offer. When we were outside the school, there was no car parked in the parking lot. I got so angry at him. Are you playing around with me? There's no car here.
I never said I have a car.
He smiled and jumped on a crazy sports motorbike. He turned it on and pressed the accelerator once. My heart thumped. How can you possibly have a motorbike at this age?
Gift from my dad for my 16th birthday. Come on, hop on.
Driving fast with Thorn on the country roads was far better than the dream I just had. When he finally stopped in front of my house, I was a bit disappointed because I wanted to go for a longer ride. But eventually, I took off my helmet and handed it to him. Very kind of you. Thank you. Good night. A few days later, Melissa's competition was taking place. She was sitting in a classroom together with her two ugly and stupid friends, while at least 30 girls from the school, including me, were waiting in line outside the classroom to present our work. At the classroom door stood a guy about my age checking our work before Melissa. He had to make sure to discard anything that could look like trash to her before she could waste her time. Probably one of her slaves that she kept around. When it was my turn to enter the class, he looked at my work to check if it was printed or handmade. Hey, who do you think I am?
I am sorry, I am just doing my job. I never seen such unbelievable art before. It's so perfect, it looks like you have printed it.
Well, FYI, I can't even afford a printer. Otherwise, I wouldn't do this.
And I've never seen a girl at our age being so honest. My name is James.
My name is... I have a boyfriend waiting to applaud for me right at the end of this corridor. But when I turned around, Thorn wasn't amongst the crowd. Where the heck was he? I didn't have time to look for him because it was my turn to enter. James let me pass through and I approached Melissa.
Well, well, well. Look who's here. The loser.
More than Melissa, I hated her friends laughing at every dumb thing she'd say. Melissa, I am not here to make friends. I am here to do business with you. You don't have to like me as long as you like my work. You pay me, I work for you. That's it.
I'm pretty sure they're no better than the others before you.
But as soon as she opened my sketchbook, she didn't say a word for 5 minutes. Melissa was impressed for the first time in her life, and she didn't know how to react. So, she tried not to say something nice, and the best she could say was,
They're not bad. Let me ask my brother what he thinks. James, what do you think?
James was her brother? How could they be so different? James was very polite compared to his brat sister.
I love him.
Even though I didn't know James, it felt great to be supported.
All right, Monday after school at my mansion. If you're late, you're fired without even starting. Now get lost. James, wrap it up. It's done.
I couldn't believe it! I was so happy I hugged Melissa for a moment. But then I controlled myself, remembering that she will be my boss from now on.
Hey, don't touch me with those dirty hands of yours.
I couldn't care less for her insults right now. I left the classroom. Where was Thorn anyway? I looked for him everywhere in the corridors, and then I walked outside. He was just getting off his motorbike and running to me.
Hey, I heard you won. Congratulations. I knew it. Hey, I have a great idea. What do you say we take off for a little trip today?
A trip? Today? I can't afford it.
Don't worry, I have some savings from the money that my parents give me. We just need permission from my dad to ride the bike across country. Officially, it's still in his name, and I can't leave the state without his permission.
Unbelievable! He drove me home to pack my things, and I also told Mom. But before we departed, just outside my home, Thorn asked me something that I will remember for the rest of my life.
Honey, listen. Remember I told you that I needed permission from my dad regarding the bike?
Yes.
Well, he would never sign me that permission because my parents are just too worried about me. But I want to make us happy with this trip, so here's what we can do. You're a great painter.
Then he showed me 2 pieces of paper.
This is the permission I need from my dad, and in this other paper, his signature from an irrelevant document. Can you just copy it from here to here?
I was a bit confused and scared. Copying a signature?
It's for us, to make us happy. I love you.
My heart was coming out of my chest. I copied his dad's signature without thinking any further, and we left. A little later, it started to rain like heck. After a few minutes of riding, Thorn stopped in front of a bank.
I need to withdraw some cash from my account.
After 5 minutes, he came out of the bank running, holding a bag full of cash. What? At first, he ran past me, but then he remembered that he had left me behind.
Run!
He completely forgot about the motorbike. What the heck is going on, Thorn? He wasn't answering. I heard the police sirens approaching. My legs couldn't keep going anymore, and Thorn just kept dragging me faster and faster. After a few minutes, he turned down an alley. I turned around, and I saw 7 police cars stopping right in front of us. I turned to Thorn to inform him, but he wasn't there anymore and had disappeared altogether with the bag of cash. The police arrested me. I couldn't believe what just happened. And most importantly, I didn't even know what was going on. Police took me to the station where I got to call Mom. She came over quickly, crying and screaming.
My little daughter, she is innocent. Let her go.
After telling them everything, the police told me what was going on.
You haven't signed Thorn's dad's motorbike permission, but rather a super rich businessman's bank account and withdrawal authorization.
Thorn wasn't who he said he was, and he had completely used my drawing talent all this time just for that moment. The police said he had done similar things before. For example, stealing a motorbike. That jerk! How could I have trusted him? A police car took both Mom and me home. I could only cry on my bed all night. Mom sat next to me.
Don't worry, honey. It is normal to be fooled by many kinds of guys at this age. The important thing is to stay true to yourself and not intentionally be involved in such things.
Is this how you were fooled by Dad? Mom didn't answer, but instead, she just hugged me. On Monday, I went to Melissa's mansion. It was huge. I pulled myself together and rang the bell. James opened the door.
Oh, hi, it's you.
He was looking around for Thorn. Useless to check for Thorn. I broke up with him.
Did you? That's good. I mean, I'm so sorry.
No, you're not. I've seen how you look at me. James only smiled and let me in. I started working for Melissa right away, and James was always there. He was very kind to me, and he for sure wasn't sticking around to make some money out of me. One day, when I finished work, he asked me out.
Would you like to have dinner with me?
I smiled and nodded. It took you long enough to ask. Long enough to ask.